Well, there it is. Hello and welcome to another Starcraft 2 commentary. This is Witty and this is a 1v1 on the map Steppes of War. I am the Protoss player, the red one, and I am positioned at the 2 o'clock position, whereas my enemy is at the 8 o'clock position. He is called Yeahlll. Yeahlll. Yeah, something. I think that's 3 L's, so I don't really know how to pronounce that. Yeahlll, maybe. And he's the blue Zerg. Now, this strat that I'm about to show you is I'll let it play out. Obviously, I won't tell you until it starts happening, but I'll let it play out, and it's somewhat unbreakable on particular maps, such as Steppes of War, due to Steppes of War having a very long distance before you can get to your expansion. Although it is rather close to the ramp, it's still quite a long distance, and it's basically your access point to anywhere else on the map. You're really closed in if you cannot get out of this access ramp. So myself, I'm just going to be chrono boosting probes, going to try and get a lot of minerals building up. My enemy is obviously doing the whole economy thing, most Zergs do. You rarely see Zergs do like 6 pulls or 8 pulls or 10, 11, 12 pulls, whatever these days. It's rather rare. Nonetheless, it's always good to do a bit of a probe harass, just to throw him off the game, slow him down a bit. He's holding up his minerals, so what's he trying to do? No. He's actually going to be going for the spawning for. I thought for a moment that he might try and get a fast hatchery, which is even better for me, because what I will be going for is a forge at the moment. Just about to place one forge down, as you can see. He will see that with his train, which will be unfortunate for me, because that will spell out quite a number of things to him. Now, I've been playing around with this build a little bit. This is one of the first times I've done it on this map. In fact, this is the first time I've done it on this map. And almost got that drone. I have to back off now. Just a little bit messing around, so he's probably slowed down a bit. Probably wanted to get his extractor a bit earlier to get the spawning pulse speed, metabolic boost going up. Meanwhile, he's going to be looking around my base, seeing there's very little there, apart from capped. And now I'm going to be starting to choke off his ramp with pylon and then 2 cannons as soon as that forge is done. The forge is now done, so I should be able to put down 2 cannons as soon as that pylon goes up. My opponent is getting himself a queen, he's getting himself 4 Zerglings in response, and I'm getting myself 2 cannons basically as soon as he started building these Zerglings. So the question is who wins, 2 cannons or 4 Zerglings? I think we know the answer to that. It's a little gap there, by the way, so I thought I'd better block that as well with a ramp cannon. I'm not sure if only workers can get through it, or pretty sure Zerglings can fit through that, so I thought it's not worth the risk. This is a rather aggressive build. It's very cheesy, you could call it. But it's what Protoss seem to do these days. Protoss players play very cheesy, and to be quite frank, it works in their favour massively. If you're not playing cheesy as a Protoss player, you're only letting yourself down, really. So we can see, letting yourself down, I suppose that's the wrong word. I suppose you're just not getting the most out of what you could be getting. It's not, that's the wrong word. Letting yourself down would be basically playing without cheese. But I like my cheese, so I'm going to have some wine too. Give me a second, I'll just drink some. Some nice wine. Anyway, as we can see, I've properly saturated my minerals up here. My opponent is going for a lair. He knows what's going on. He's going straight to roach warren as well, and another extractor, so he can afford roaches quite comfortably. And he's going to be starting to spread his creep tubers, so he can get his spine crawler to the top of his ramp and start slowly destroying these cannons. Meanwhile, I could invest in building more and more cannons, but that's not really going to be worth it, because I know that my opponent is going to find some other way out of his base. He doesn't really want to go out of his base through this ramp. Nevertheless, this is such a great map, to be honest, to do this on, because you can, as you can see, I'm going to start slowly blocking off this point. So if I really need to get another expansion, I can go through here. And I'm going to have it fairly blocked off and guarded, probably with a cannon or so, and other buildings, just to block the access points. So that's going to be in my favour, and I'm going to block anything coming from here. Nonetheless, I'm going to be getting myself expansion, rather. So this is basically a free expansion for the Protoss players. This is what you should do. You could always go Stargate behind here and start pumping out air or such, but that might not necessarily work. My opponent is basically going... as soon as he saw this, he went straight to Roach, straight to Nidus Network. So as soon as that Nidus Network goes up, well, let's see how long that takes. And it's a 50-second mark, which is basically about 38 seconds in real life time. And yeah, we're going to see him probably put down that Nidus Network somewhere. He's got a couple of overlords, so he's got the opportunity to do this. Meanwhile, I'm getting quite complacent, going quite heavy on my drones. We can see that at the moment I am definitely ahead of my opponent. My income is considerably more than his, by about 300 now, due to having 36 harvesters over 21. You can see that my opponent is now starting to build roaches. As you can see, he's got the spine core at the top here. It's starting to clear off my photon cannons because I cannot see up. I can't get my probe up there. If I do, the probe will just get basically two-shotted, so it's not really worth it. So I just had to let these cannons slow him down, really. They've served their purpose. They've stopped the Zerg from getting an expansion, which is one of the biggest things, really. And you can see he's now starting to fill up his Nidus network, and he's going to put it down right here, which is a great place to put it. What I should have done is put down lots of pylons myself. Now we can see that this is no way I can contend with this. I'm well behind. I got very complacent. Started researching Warpgate, barely made any units, so he's going to get free access to my main here and destroy that. That's not really a problem, because as long as I still got one base and he's got one base, I'm still in the game. So my gateways are going up here, but I've got way too much gas. I haven't really measured this right, to be honest. I've got not enough minerals. He's starting to break down here to see what he can kill, and unfortunately he's going to be able to get away with a bit until my photon cannons can go up. So luckily I should be able to get my photon cannons just in time, at least to help protect me a bit against this. So if he came down here straight away, I would have lost. But then again, he can't possibly know that without scouting. Could have come straight down here, could have been tons of photon cannons. Nevertheless, he has been quite successful with this. I'm now struck on one base. I can't even mine. I'm not doing any minerals at the moment. We're on about the same amount of harvesters right now, so I'm quite behind. I had to get myself sentries, which aren't ideal against roaches, but that's all I had. I only had gas left and not many minerals at all. So now I can finish off these roaches that are here. These other roaches inside of my main have actually destroyed the main, and he's going to be trying to destroy what he can now. There's not much he can do apart from possibly try and break through here again, but that's a risk that he might be willing to take, I'm not sure. He's got too many minerals, too much Vespene gas. If he was macroing properly, he could have very well won this. I was trying to find a way of whether this strat is actually beatable, and I think it is. My last game I've won with this, and I did it a lot more smoothly. The Zerg player just did not stand a chance after basically already having done this, so the more you practice this stuff, the better. I was actually 24/7 before I started playing today, and now I think I'm something like 33/10 or something. No, wait, no, nothing. 33/20. I lost my first 4 games of the day. Nevertheless, that was incredibly infuriating, is a word for it, basically, and I wasn't too happy, so I just thought, screw it, I'm just going to start playing like mad now, and I'll see how this goes. And I've come across loads of different strats, and to be fair, almost all of my opponents deserve to beat me. And they've all been doing different weird stuff, so I didn't really know how to handle that. My opponent's gone for an expansion here, as you can just see for the moment. I better not. And I'll just manage to try and get my sentries back out after killing that. So he's going to want to keep using this Nidus web by the looks of it, and a Hydralisk den is going up, Roach Hydras. Anyway, as I was saying before about the whole loss spree, that really threw me off, but I managed to persevere. And my last 6 games have been all wins. But yeah, I've lost so many games now that basically my pretty looking stats, as it were, I had 24 wins, 7 losses, are now just a mess, basically. So on the one hand, that was rather upsetting, but on the other hand, it allows me to just get on and play the game now without giving too much of a crap about stats, because it really does slow you down if you get too, oh, I don't want to mess up my stats. So anyway, I'm going to be starting to learn a lot more now, and we can see another Nidus worm coming out. So he's going to want to keep up the harass. But what I should have done is actually just go back a bit here, rather, because I did get carried away with talking about my stats and all that, but at least you're filled in on that situation, if anyone actually cares. Nevertheless, we can see that because he is putting on so much harass here, and he could have actually brought out some Zerglings there, so that was a huge error on his part. I definitely should have lost this one. I'll admit that. If my opponent knew what he was doing, of course he probably hasn't come across this a lot. I've lost a lot of my games today, like I was saying, because I just am not aware of particular strats. Some of these people completely throw me off. One guy bloody cannon rushed me and got away with it. Forced me to expand, and then basically expanded all over the map himself. Then I started doing that strategy, making it work as well. The next time I came across this guy again, he tried it again. Did not work. So there's a lot of games where you lose, and you have to lose in order to learn how to beat this stuff. You can't know how to beat everything straight away, no matter how good a player you are, basically. Some things are going to catch you out. So this point seemed like a really good point for me to That was a fail force field right there, you can see. But yeah, I may as well just go and destroy my opponent here, because that's the last thing the Zerg player wants. I can survive because I know I'm quite safe here on my base. I've got a few cannons here. Sure, he can come down and probably break through that, but I know that if I can destroy his main, he is absolutely screwed, whereas I'm not, because I can always just send off my probes to build a pylon elsewhere or something, and then probably destroy his forces with my superior Protoss army anyway. So I've just managed to destroy his hatchery in trade for basically him not being able to destroy much of my stuff at all. So this is just finishing him off now already. Spine cores are going down way too late. If his macro was much better, this guy shouldn't have lost this game. But I will say that he lost this game because he played badly, and I also played badly myself doing this because I haven't played around with this strategy. It's not that well, it is cheesy, but it's actually a genuinely very strong strategy. So really, if you're a Protoss player, you should try to learn how to do this one. Yeah, so as I was saying, I did play a game further on where I did Steps of War again against a Zerg player, and I got Protoss. I've been playing random all the time, but sometimes it gives me Protoss in that situation, because it does give me some sort of favour every now and then, apart from when it's giving me massive losses in a row. And yeah, I've completely destroyed the Zerg. So I'm finding it hard, really, for a Zerg player to counter this strategy unless he has extremely fortunate timing or really, really, really good micro and macro. I'm not really sure. I haven't played this enough, but all I can say is the last time I did this, it was a great deal harder for the Zerg to beat me. So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe, rate and comment.